Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining our creative checkup for today. And today, if you're watching on replay, we're going to be talking about the 5 proven ways that you can break any creative block. 5 proven ways that you can break through that issue with your inspiration, feeling like you're stuck, feeling like you cannot figure out what to make, when to make it, just getting that kind of blah feeling when it comes to your creativity, which can really make you frustrated as a creative. This is where we help you to break through that with these 5 strategies. My name is Alan C. Paul. If you're new to God in Gigs, thank you so much for joining us in this creative checkup episode. Every week we go live to help you solve one specific problem that might be hampering your creative drive and your God-given gifting. We should be going live as I am checking on all of these platforms. It'd be Instagram, on our Facebook group. If you're watching in our Facebook group, excuse me, I always seem to get immediately hoarse as soon as I start talking. I don't know what that is. I need to talk to my vocal coaches out there and tell me why that happens. But Instagram seems to be working. I'm checking now to see how we're doing here. And I could probably just check on my own phone to see if we are actually live. And if you are watching now, if you are watching live, make sure you comment. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you are watching. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's see here. And yeah, looks like it didn't try to work this time, but we'll figure it out one of these days. It's just I'm a little frustrated with the text today, so forgive me if I look a little annoyed. It's just one of those things. But anyway, if you are watching, I'm glad you are here. I'm not going to worry about the things that didn't work. Okay, so today, like I said, we're going to be dealing with inspiration. We're going to be dealing with what to do when you feel that lack of really drive or motivation. And as you might know, or maybe don't know, I'm a musician by trade. I perform in all kinds of jazz and gospel and contemporary Christian. I mean, you name the artist, you name the type of music. I usually say have keyboard, will travel. So, what I really feel that we all understand when it comes down to this issue is that feeling of just feeling like you're not motivated and everything you play, if you write, if you sing, if you dance, if you draw, feeling like everything you're doing is kind of like a labor instead of love. Now, you know how they call it a labor of love? Well, sometimes it can feel like it's not a labor of love at all. It can feel more like labor than love. And more importantly, it feels like anything you make, anything that you sit down to do just feels like it's not fresh. It feels like it's tired, like you're playing the same songs over and over again. Maybe if you're a poet or you're a singer, nothing new is coming to mind. If you're a songwriter, especially if you're a composer, someone who makes stuff for a living, you may really feel like there's just nothing new coming out. Nothing is really getting you excited to create anymore. And I can totally understand that because once again, if you are a gifted, and some people call this word anointed, they use that word a lot, and you sit down and you feel this, what most people used to call writer's block. Um, what people used to call well, they call writer's block, but just feeling like you're feeling the blues, I guess you could say, but you just don't have any creative drive. And this again can be a killer, especially, and I'm going to speak to some of us that are not necessarily full-time, but those of us who do rely on part of the income of your creative gift for a living. If you do sell your art, if you do craft your things, and you rely on this income, and you rely, like, you need new ideas, you need new songs. If you're a screenplay writer, you have to get that thing out, especially if you're on a deadline. This can be extremely, extremely scary when you just don't have any new ideas, when you don't have anything that seems to like move the needle when it comes to you sitting down to come up with something that you have to share with the world. And especially again, as you are watching this, and we call ourselves God and Gigs, we say kingdom minded creatives, faith focused creatives, all these different ways of saying, like, you believe that God has gifted you to do the thing you do. It can be a very hard, disconcerting, um almost depressing thing when you sit down and you cannot come up with ideas. When I sit down at the piano and it's like I haven't written a song in this many weeks, months, I haven't written anything new in my books, or I haven't kept my book going. It becomes a snowball effect of depression and a snowball effect of feeling like I just don't have it. I don't get it. As we see, some people are coming in. Go ahead and make sure that if you are on Instagram, I'm sorry, not Instagram. I actually do need to check my Instagram to see, but it looks like we didn't go live. So Instagram, unfortunately, you guys are going to be out of it. You might be watching this on a replay that I post later. But in terms of those of you who are watching now, especially on Facebook, you need to go to, Greg. Okay, there you go. Now we know who it is. And I know it's Greg because he just texted me the other day. But you need to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And that way you can give them permission to show your name. Okay, so if you go there to StreamYard.com/Facebook and then just say, hey, give you permission to connect with you, the whole privacy controls thing, and let them know. Yeah, I'm just real bummed out, guys, that this I love StreamYard. There's something I'm doing wrong. Every time I try to go live on all these different platforms, something breaks, and it's just really frustrating. So I'm trying not to let that be on my face. It's like, why? Why is it not working? But kind of goes with the issue I'm talking about right now. It talks about the just the frustration of not getting what you want out of your creative life. Greg is an amazing worship leader and director and producer. So, Greg, I'd love you to chime in anytime you can. We've had him on the podcast. I'm not sure what number podcast you're on, but you have given one of our most interesting, intriguing, most really important episodes when it comes down to those of us who serve in churches. Definitely go check out Greg. Type in his name at godandgigs.com/podcast into search, and you'll see the episode that he shared on. But so we're talking about breaking through the creative blocks, feeling stagnant, feeling like I just said, especially if you are a Christian creative, this can feel like you've been abandoned, like you're not going to get anything else out of your creative life. It can almost feel like, your creative life could be in jeopardy. This is what I'm saying. I remember when, if I go back a little bit, probably when I was writing the book, probably when I was writing God and Gigs, my wife helped me with this. I was in a very weird writer's block situation where the book that you see right over here to my right, I could not come up with any more ideas. I had my editor working with me. We had already raised money, and yet I didn't have any new chapters coming out. I was just kind of like, well, I don't really know what else to talk about. Like, I feel like I've talked about everything I'm supposed to talk about. And my wife gave me these 2 words that revolutionized. It was so profound. And it was 2 words, and she made me put it on a sticky note. Just right. I mean, how deep is that, right? It's so easy, yet so hard to just right, to just do it. And it can feel like it's almost like a little bit of a slap of the face. It's like, well, if it was that easy, I would have gone ahead and come up with the idea, but it wasn't that easy. And I couldn't come up with it. And every time I sit down, nothing is coming to mind that helps me to get restarted. Well, my friend, that's why we are here. It is absolutely essential that you have strategies, not just wishful thinking. Yes, there's prayer. Yes, there's connecting with God, and we're going to talk a lot about that. But these are more 5 mindsets or more practices, 5 mindsets or practices that will help you to break through any creative block. Now, as I go through these, and I will try to keep up and share them as well on my screen so that you guys, if you're taking notes, but I want to let you know that this is actually available in the form of a book that I've already written, a small book. I call it a mini book or ebook, kind of like a mini ebook, which is really kind of like a long blog post, but it's easy and it's free. I noticed on Amazon, this is where this is really cool that I realized I need to talk about this because I went back to Amazon. I was checking on my stats, and authors do this. We got to check on our stats every once in a while. And I looked and I said, "Well, I wonder how that book is doing." I haven't checked it in forever, and I put it up for free because I felt like it was just a way for people to get to know me, find out about God and gigs. The book is definitely like super short. You can read it in 5 minutes or less. It's kind of like more like an inspirational, like, so yeah, I guess I can't think how many pages, but it's definitely like under a 5 minute read. Like it's basically like you sit down, you absorb it, you apply the principles, there's some action steps, and that's it. And I'm checking right now to see, make sure that the website that you can get it. Yes. Is it correct? I think it's loading, so I think I got the right one. So I want to make sure you can get this before I even start. Yep, there it is. Perfect. So what I did is I wrote down this book. I created this book and I put it on Amazon. And like I said, I hadn't checked on it. I went back the other day, guys, and it is still top 50 in top 25 in 30 minutes or less self-help creative books. That category in the self-help creative 30-minute read or less, it is still in the top 25. It is a free download there. So if you want to get it at Amazon, you can get it at Amazon, but you can also get it here. I'm going to type it in. You can get godandgigs.com/breakthrough. So everything I share here, as I try to type underneath this, sorry, .com/breakthrough. I just wanted to make sure that the website was working before I shared it because I really couldn't remember. So if you go to godandgigs.com/breakthrough, you can get this very same book. You can get it in any kind of version you want, PDF, in a Kindle version. You can also get it in an iBooks version if you have Apple. And you can read through this. There's some things in this talk that I can't share because, again, it's only going to be like a 30-minute, 40-minute talk and maybe less. And I don't want to just read the book to you. It's not story time. So you go to godandgigs.com/breakthrough. You can download this free book. Again, you can also find it on Amazon as a free download or free Kindle example, a free Kindle edition. And I'm just going to walk you through this so that you can hear me share it. So if you're stuck right now and you need like, hey, just give me one of these things that will help me feel like I'm not walking up to my instrument, walking up to my keyboard, and just still in that same stuck feeling that I felt when I was stuck on my book and I needed my wife to write just right. Even now as I'm talking, guys, like I have to remind myself that you right now watching on the other end, this is not about what I'm feeling. This is about what you might be feeling. It's about what you might be able to help someone else to break through a creative block. And it can become, again, debilitating. So we're going to help you break through these with these 5 steps. And so the first one, I'm going to go ahead and give you some notes as we go, because again, I like these to put this in. And I was going to do it earlier and I got stuck doing something. So forgive me if I keep typing as I hope you're not hearing the clack, clack, clack. And that's bothering you, but I want you to see it as well. And if you're watching and if you have any ideas, if you've ever been stuck and you felt the same thing, let me know where you're watching from and if that has happened to you. If that has happened to you, if you've ever felt stuck, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop worrying about this in terms of this Instagram thing because this is still bothering me. You can guys tell I'm distracted. I'm really frustrated that it didn't work. So we're actually just going to jury rig this and we're going to go live right here. If I can put it up, you guys see me. I'm actually putting my phone right here on the computer. And I'm just going to make it work because I used to do this a lot. I used to do two feeds at once. There we go. All right. So we'll see how long that lasts, but we're going to make it work. I'm going to be looking at 2 different cameras and we'll figure it out. So the first step that we need to do to break out of any creative block, writer's block, creative block, musician block, like any block that you're thinking about, okay? The first one we're going to do, let's grab the banner, is we're going to replace the what ifs. Now, let me explain what replace the what ifs mean, okay? Replace the what ifs is that worry that once you get into a creative block that it will last forever. The first thing that happens when we get stuck and we feel like you cannot come up with anything inspiring is that you feel that this What if I can't come up with anything? What if the client cancels me? What if I never write a song again? What if, like, these things cloud your mind immediately? I don't know about you, but this is what goes through my mind. Let's see, the error just came on. Let's make sure we reduce the noise so you guys aren't hearing all that. And hopefully everything technically is working on Instagram as well. Since I went live there, let me know if you guys can watch and hear and see. So now you got this issue. You're worried that what you feel in terms of being stuck creatively is never going to end. And your mind is clouded over and over. And the example I like to give is a children's book I used to read, of course, because I'm not a child anymore. Much not a child, very much not a child. So I used to have this book called Slugger Sal's Slump. Say that 5 times fast. Slugger Sal's Slump. And so what I remember about this book was that Slugger Sal was a baseball player. He was awesome at what he did, but he got into a slump and couldn't hit the ball. And this was happening I mean, the story is vivid to me. Like, my mom and my dad must have read this to me 100 times, and I read it over and over again. So you can tell it made an impression. So children's book authors, please be blessed. Keep doing what you're doing, because these children's books are amazing in what they do to our formation as creatives. It's really a beautiful thing that I still remember these children's books to this day. So Slugger Sal kept trying and trying to get out of the slump, and he kept swinging and missing, striking out, striking out, striking out. And eventually that's all he kept saying is that, what if I'm washed up as a baseball player? Everybody loves me, and now I can't hit the ball. And athletes, of course, we know this is very close to what creators deal with as well, when you feel like your talent is no longer working for you. And one of the things in the book that I vividly remember is how Sal broke out of this slump. And kind of like my wife came alongside me, the mom, I think in the story, I think it was the mom, might have been the dad, I'm not sure, says, "So what if you can't hit the ball? You're still a good runner, you're still a good fielder. So what if you can't do this? So what if you can't do that?" And it's a vivid picture in my mind, because Slugger Sal then said the same thing to himself. What if I can't? So what? So what if I'm not no longer the greatest pitcher, or sorry, greatest hitter of all time? I could still do this, I could still do that, focusing on his strengths. And it was such a beautiful picture. And like I said, this is, a children's book that still impacts me today as a almost 50-year-old, And it's now, this section is devoted to that very same thought. When you get stuck in your creative block and you feel like, what if I can't come up with something? What if I can't write anymore? What if I don't have any good ideas? You go and you replace the what if, and you add a so in the front. So what if? It's kind of what in some of these books they do, which is when I say some of these books, I'm referring specifically to the 4 Hour Work Week, and I think it's Tim Ferriss that talks about going into his what ifs and coming up with the worst possible scenario, and just saying, okay, so what if the worst thing possibly happens? What'll happen? And he kind of goes down like, okay, the most horrible thing that could happen, and he still ends up with, well, what would I do? I would come up with this. What would I do? Well, it would be horrible, but I would come up with this. And somehow at the end of the entire list, he says, hey, the worst that could happen is this, and I've already mentally figured it out. It's kind of like the opposite of what the Bible talks about, thinking of the good things. It's kind of weird, but you think of like the horrible things and you get rid of them, and you're just like, okay, I've dealt with this now, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore, because now I'm comfortable with knowing that the so what ifs, I've already dealt with them all. So what if this doesn't happen? I can do this. And so what if you are creatively stuck? And it's a weird thing to say. So what if you don't write another song? Will you still be able to perform? Will you still be able to do other people's work? Will you still be able to do other things? And it's like, well, yeah. If this part of my creative life was totally non-existent, would you cease to exist? No. You'd have other things that you would do. And so I really love that thought process that hopefully it gives you some hope too if you're stuck right now and you're feeling stuck. And you're saying to yourself, hey, so what if I'm not, as prolific as I was before? I still have a ton of work I can be proud of. I can still do these other things and just focus on the things that are going well versus the negative self talk repeatedly, getting mad at yourself for not creating. Just make sure that you are doing that and replacing the what if with a so what if. Okay. So that's number one. Replace the what ifs with the so what ifs. Okay. Now, number two, what you want to do is you want to reconnect. I want to put this one too. So let's put this with this one. So that was number one. Number two is reconnect with your emotions. Reconnect with your emotions. And so we're kind of, as you can see, when it comes to breaking these creative blocks, we're going really back into our childhood. We're going back into our childhood. Stop here. There we go. So we're going back into our childhood and we're thinking about what made us feel like a creative. What made you feel like an amazing creative? Good to see you. Oh, heaven, my friend Wilfredo. What's up, brother? Um, Glad we went live on Instagram. That's why I was freaking out because I was really mad because we have a lot of friends on Instagram. And I didn't want you guys left out when the live didn't work. So yeah, I feel like it's a little bit better. I feel like I was super bright. All right. So when you reconnect with your emotions, I want you, as you think about your creative block, to go back and say to yourself, what did I feel when I was inspired? Don't start with, I'm not inspired. Go back and ask yourself, what do I feel when I'm inspired? What are the emotions that actually come from, what's the payoff when I'm inspired? So instead of focusing on what's the next song I need to write, what's the next book, why can't I come up with a podcast episode, which happens to me all the time, by the way. Go to godandgigs.com/podcast if you want to see all the 275 times I've had to come up with a title, come up with an idea for a podcast. I've had to do it so many times, and now I'm running multiple podcasts, so it happens more than once a week that I have to be inspired to come up with something. So I would say go back and think about what emotion really flows from that moment that you are inspired. Do you feel joy, happiness, peace? Do you feel energy? Do you love like the feeling of like getting down? Like what is the emotional connection you have to your creative gift? And by the way, again, I remind you guys, if you want to go to godandgigs.com/breakthrough, I'm also going to look here on Amazon. Actually, let me go here and see if I can get my own book up. But yeah, it is on Amazon. And you can also get it at godandgeeks.com/breakthrough. You can get it for free. Okay. So now I want you to think about that emotional connection. And I want you to actually, instead of trying to make yourself inspired, focus on the emotion that you feel, the emotion that you enjoy out of that event, out of that creative spirit, and reconnect with that and just make sure that you are now saying, you know what I'm really seeking, I'm not seeking a new song. If you focus on the thing that you want the most likely you find it, right? So instead of focusing on, I want to write songs, I want to come up with an idea so bad. I want a new song. I want a new idea. I want a new idea. And you get so stressed out on that new idea that you forget that the point of the new idea is you don't just want a song. You don't just want something to paint or write. You want to reconnect with what it feels to be inspired. So it's so important that you focus on the feeling and write down what I call, when we do this very same thing in something we call our consistent creative challenge. And these are all goals, again, to be consistent. And so, what I have everybody in the challenge do, which we may do a new challenge very soon. Every time I do this exercise and I talk about this book, I realize how important it is that we go back to this. So, what I might do is I might do a consistent creative challenge coming up in April. And make sure you can sign up for that. Go to godandgeek.com/info to be on the newsletter so you can find out when we do the next consistent creative challenge. So, what we want to do is write down these feelings. When I create, I call it a reconnection list, right? When I create, I feel X. I feel this when I create. I feel this when I create. I feel this when I create. If you do that, you'll now have a kind of list leading you into here's my main goal, right? My goal is not to be the most prolific writer. My goal is to have the connection, the emotional connection, the feelings that I want to feel when I'm writing, when I'm creating. So I reconnect with those emotions, and then I'm able to really, really, get that sense that it's not about this stress is really what I'm getting at. Okay. You're not stressing about not being creative. You're remembering the whole goal. Your mindset is now, I want to feel this way. I want to know this feeling. I want to be understanding, not understanding. What's the right word I'm looking for? I want to appreciate better what this is really about. I want to be more grateful for this gift I have. And so reconnecting with your feelings is going to help you unlock that creativity because now you're not focused on what's the next song. You're focused on how that next song will make you feel. You're looking into the future. So that's number 2. Reconnect with your feelings. We talked about replacing the what ifs. Number 3, I'm checking in my very book. Guys, I actually pulled this up to make sure I was following my own book because I didn't want to get messed up and forget. And I panicked for a second. I was like, oh gosh, what if I forget? See, the what ifs hit me. I just said it. What if? Even as I'm doing this live, I had to deal with the what ifs, the creative what ifs. So number 3, you're going to have to strategy 3, reactivate your appreciation for others. And by the way, if you're watching live and this is helping you, please tell me, give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you like this video if you're watching it right now and subscribe because just those little connections, those little comments remind me not to let the what ifs get me because the what ifs got me. You saw that just a second ago. The what ifs almost got me. Okay. So the next one, what we're going to do is reactivate your appreciation for others. I'm just going to say reactivate your appreciation. And again, these are strategies to break out of a creative block. Strategies to help you break out. See, Greg joined us over here on Instagram. Cool. My phone is dying. Like everything's trying to work against me. I'm not going to let this get me because every time I've done live, like I feel like the enemy starts throwing stuff at me to try to throw me off. So next one is to reactivate that appreciation. What did this mean? Well, I said it in my devotional. If you can see over here, this side, the devotional. I write about this and I call it the golden rule of artists. And the golden rule of artists, you guys all know the golden rule is not just a golden rule that was a famous, saying. Jesus actually said the golden rule in the book of Matthew, and he states it several times in the scripture. And he says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That's Jesus talking. That's literally to us Christians. So for artists, what I say is that really what we want to do is we want to do unto other artists as we would have other people do unto us. So if you are feeling stuck, one of the best ways to break out of it is to appreciate and go find other artists and connect with them. Don't be a person in an island. Don't get stuck. Become that person that's looking out for other creatives and is going to concerts, going to museums, going to other people. And again, this is all about refocusing and retooling your brain to not focus on what you haven't created, on what isn't happening, but focus on what is happening, what you want to happen in your creative life, and what's happening in other people's lives. So be around inspiring people. If you are stuck, by all means, don't get in a circle of people who are stuck as well. Go find some artists that are like killing it. Go find some musicians that are killing it. And not just like show up to try to like get ideas. See, that's the wrong mentality. If you show up to try to kind of borrow their ideas or their mojo, that's not really the point. The point is to support them and give them some love and show them why you appreciate them sticking with it when they got stuck. So this is how you rethink your mindset, retool your mindset to say, how can I be a blessing to others? And as you elevate your appreciation, I like that word even better, elevate your appreciation, but this is all the R's, right? Replace the what as reconnect with your emotions and now reactivate your appreciation. So once you do that, you're going to feel this sense of, wait, like that's what I'm in this for. I'm not in this for like just the immediate self gratification. I'm really here to bless others. And it's going to break through those creative blocks. Now, again, I said these are proven ways. Why? Because each one of these has proven to work. There have been times in every single one of our lives that you can say, if I did this, it broke me out. I can say it because I've seen it proven by all the artists that have been on the God and Gig show, almost 200 or 150 or however many guests I've had. Every single one of them has mentioned a time when they felt kind of, focused. And these are the strategies that they used. They got around other people. They reconnected with their feelings. They didn't get stuck in the what ifs. So this is how you too can use these strategies to get out of it. And again, if you want to go find that, you just want to go to godandgigs.com/breakthrough. Let's go pull this up. You can actually get that for free, that ebook. Again, it's been top 25 on Amazon. I was shocked to see that, but it's been top 25 on Amazon. And so I would definitely recommend you go check that out so you can see more. Oh, and I also have action steps in that book because as you can see, as I share these ideas, I can't really go through all the details, but I share action steps of actually walking this out. So that's definitely the best way for you to get it. And again, it's a super short read. Like it's more about what you get out of it versus how long you read it. Okay. So I didn't get mad at myself for not writing through 2,000 pages. I said it in this little ebook. I said it's about what you get out of it, not how long you read or how thick the book is. And it's all ebook, by the way, as well. I don't think I have a written copy, but you can get the PDF and you can print it if you like. Okay. So that's number 3 is to reconnect with or reactivate your appreciation. Okay, here's number 4. And number 4 is a doozy because it's where the rubber meets the road. But let's go ahead and let's see. Oh, no, what was that? That's weird. I don't know where that's. Oh, that's my phone. So number 4 is recommit to daily time, daily creative time. Recommit. Now, here's the part that probably nobody wants to hear. Okay. You probably don't want to hear that. The only way you're going to break out of your creative block is to show up at that same empty desk, that same computer, that same instrument where nothing is happening. And even if nothing comes out, to sit there for 5 minutes, to sit there for 10 minutes and just be in that creative space. And the consistent creative challenge, all these alliterations. And the consistent creative challenge, I call this to get into your creative space, to elevate your efficiency, to get into a creative space, make that creative space more more conducive to creative work. Make it happy, make it fun, make it a place you want to be in. And here I tried to make my office, even though it's still a mess, I try to make it a place that I want to come in. My keyboard's over here on the side. Like I try to make it a place that I want to be in because I'm going to be here whether I like it or not. Now, I've been committing to daily time, even in this live stream. Whether people show up or not, I'm here at 1:00 every Friday. Even last week, I was in Virginia with my good friend LaShonda Brown and Lex Roman. She's another creative you want to check out. They've got a great live stream coming up very soon. And the training, I'm in LaShonda's training. LaShonda was so gracious to bring me up and my wife to Virginia to hang out and help her launch her app. But y'all, at 1:00, I think I moved it to 3:00 because we had a brunch or something, but I still went live in Virginia. I had to hold my phone. I was all over the place trying to figure out the mics and stuff. I still committed to my daily time, my practice time, my creative time, my writing time, whatever that is. It used to be when I was writing, when I was writing the book, I would go to Dunkin' Donuts over here, right by my house. And it would be like 4 in the morning, but they were open 24 hours. And I was like, I'm getting up and I'm writing. Even if nothing comes up, I will sit there and sip my coffee and just be in that space. And the commitment is what I believe, which gosh, I can't remember which composer said it. Um, I think it's Ernest Newman. I can't remember the name of the author. So let me know if I misattribute this quote. But he said that inspiration is not something that that comes upon you when you want to work. Inspiration finds you while you're working. And so it's so important that you don't wait for inspiration to strike. You go out, you commit to that daily time. And yes, it's frustrating as anything to be in a creative space and nothing's happening. And you're like, why am I here? I'm literally just sitting, just doodling. I'm not even coming up with anything good. You commit to that daily time anyway, because inspiration is going to get to you through your daily commitment, not through you waiting for the light bulb to strike. Many creatives think that that's the way it works. When I get it, and that does happen at times. God does give you an idea and you just run with it. But more likely, if you work the muscle of staying in a creative space, it is more likely that inspiration, you can attract inspiration. You can be more of a conduit of inspiration because you always are in the space that it would show up and hit you at. You're there waiting. You're in the right place. Even scripturally or biblically, this makes sense, right? Because God is saying, hey, wait on me, focus on me, do the same things. Don't wait for you to feel it. Don't wait till you feel it to pray. Pray at the same time. Be there, be committed. And that's when inspiration hits you, when you're showing that consistency to that time, even when it does not feel very, very fun. So that's the fourth one. Okay. So we said, let's go through fast. Replace the what ifs, reconnect with your emotions, reactivate your appreciation, recommit to your daily time, and do not let it go. And then the last one, I really love this one. And then we're going to jump off of Instagram because it looks like my phone's going to die and I should have charged it. And I want to make sure I write it correctly. Yeah, I'm just going to put reward, make it short. And the last one, the way to get out of these daily blocks or these creative blocks is to reward yourself. And this, again, you can tell like this is a mindset shift for many of us. You might say, well, I don't reward myself until I finish the project. I don't like give myself a pat on the back until I'm actually done. But what I want you to realize is that what you actually have to do is you actually have to reward yourself before the work is done. You have to give yourself grace. You have to say, you know what? I only wrote 5 words today. Congratulations, scoop of ice cream. You have to reinforce the blessing that you have as a creative and not simply say, well, I don't deserve any credit or, I feel I'm still stuck and I don't feel like I got anything done. You kind of just continue that kind of negative mindset in your mind. Instead, make sure that you're rewarding yourself at every step. I don't know if it's a gold star. I don't know if it's a check mark. We gravitate to things that we celebrate. I didn't even realize. I'm going to say that again. You gravitate to what you celebrate. Okay. So if you don't celebrate those small wins, you are setting up roadblocks in the very direction that you're trying to go. It doesn't mean that you're overly celebrating. It doesn't mean that you're like lower your standards. It just means that you are honestly giving yourself grace and giving, gratefulness for the steps that you have taken. And I said these are proven because these are proven in every way, shape, or form. Any creative or high achiever that you talk to is going to tell you the same thing. They celebrate, hey, I showed up today. I did my thing, whether it was in the gym as an athlete, whether it's a creative showing up at the studio. They're like, you know what? This is my reward, is being here, getting myself in the place where I could be inspired and not letting myself down. That's a reward. You got to give yourself that reward every time you show up because the inspiration, again, is going to gravitate to that feeling that, hey, I show up regardless. I recommit to my daily time. That's going to make me more and more apt to be inspired and to come up with that next idea. And just to give you guys like the final kind of pin on it, everything you see around me, everything that this live stream is a result of these 5 proven strategies. Why are these strategies proven? It's because this is the proof. I've had to do these. I've had to replace the what ifs. I've had to reconnect with my emotions. I've had to recommit to daily time. I've had to reactivate my appreciation. I've had to reward myself. I want to reward myself for finishing this live stream because this was, again, like it was kind of like a bear. For some reason, all the technical stuff was starting to just annoy me, and I didn't want to, show up half of myself. The lighting wasn't quite right, and I just had all these things immediately hit me. What if it's not right? What if it's it? And so I literally had to show up and do these things. So once again, if you want to check out this free book, you can go to godandgeeks.com/breakthrough. You can download it, or if you like, you can contribute to my Amazon, rating and get it on Amazon. That'll be just a Kindle version. But if you go to godandgeeks.com/breakthrough, you can get it all the three versions, a PDF or iBooks or Kindle or whatever version that you want. Okay. And finally, I want to give a quick shout out because it's also springtime. So I want to give a shout out to everybody in God and Gigs 360. This is our membership, our top tier mastermind level membership for creatives who want to thrive in every way, 360, every way, spiritually, financially, creatively. And they want to do this in terms of a group that's giving each other accountability. So I want to shout out to them and just remind you guys that if you'd want to join us and get this kind of like deep dive all the time and in our own app, you can also check it out. We're having a spring sale, a spring break. Get it? Break creative. So we're breaking the price and we're doing a month. We're not doing monthly. We're making it so you only have to do this 4 times a year. It's a quarterly price, which kind of slashes it by 33% because it's 3 times, it's only paid 4 times and it's 3 times less in terms of the cost, so 30% less. So you can go to godandgeeks.com/spring break to check that out. And that's only going to be through, it's going to be March 18th. I believe that's is that Tuesday or Monday? I think that's Monday. So it ends on Monday. So if you're watching this on replay, you might want to jump in right away. Okay. godandgeeks.com/spring break. Go check that out. It is a amazing group. People like my friend Pamela, who's in career coaching. She's a creative in terms of writing and sharing her gifts. Simone, a writer and an actor and a singer. Charmaine, trumpet player, jazz writer, activist. Like these are people who are all over the place. And yet we have this single focused goal of being the best creators we can be. And that's where they're getting training, access to all these books. The books I just mentioned, they already had access to it, plus the ones that are, they get them for free. They get into all of our seminars for free. Our established creative experts like LaShonda Brown, they come in and do workshops. They get that for free. They never have to register for another thing. Everything that we do here, they get it automatically. So that's in godandgeeks.com/spring break for a break on the price, 30% off, only 4 payments a year. And it's a super, super easy way to get into this kind of inspiration so that if you get stuck, you have people around you. And I need to add a 6th one. That's the 6th one. Kind of goes with appreciating others, but you need accountability. So you also need to engage in accountability. If you really want to break out of your creative slump, your creative block, you really need other people. So I would highly recommend, if you're watching this again before March 18th, you can get a break on that price, spring break. No longer this certain amount monthly. You can get a quarterly rate, which slashes your price and makes it super easy to stay connected with people that hold you accountable to staying out of your creative slumps. Well, my friends, that's it. We've gone about 45 minutes. I think that's a good round number to go. If you're watching on replay, you've got now your connections. Now you've got your 5 ways to reconnect with your spiritual and with your creative gift. If you want to check that out, once again, go to godandgeeks.com/breakthrough. And if you're watching on whatever platform you're watching, please follow, like, and subscribe to it. That helps us to reach more people like you. If this inspired you, share it with someone. But, sometimes you don't get to the share button, but you all can see the subscribe button. You can also see the follow button. And just doing that, it helps us to reach more creatives and help them become the creatives that they were created to be. So please go ahead and like this. Subscribe to our channel. We're at about 815, I think, on YouTube right now. Maybe 2,000 or so on Instagram. I'm not sure where we're at LinkedIn, but that's more about, real connection. We don't just connect with everybody. But if you're watching this, most likely you are someone that fits in our tribe. So I'll definitely accept your LinkedIn connection as well. But what I really want you to do absolutely is just find some inspiration in these 5 strategies and reconnect with what God has blessed you on the inside. Don't stay in that frustrated place. Don't stay in that, feeling of like I'm no longer who I said I am. Your identity is not just as a creative. Your identity is in God, but when you're productive as a creative, you feel so much better. And I hope these 5 ways have helped you do that. Once again, if you want to get that free ebook, go to godandgigs.com/breakthrough, spell out breakthrough, okay? The THR through, not just with the U, THROUGH, okay? Practice my spelling there. Go check that out. You can get that for free, just like you can on Amazon. You can also find it on Amazon for free and download it in the app, as well as iBooks and those other places. Just look under God and Gigs, Alan Paul. You'll see that book pop up for Breakthrough the Block, as well as our other books as well. Those are there, of course. All right, my friends, God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me. So glad we got to do this. This was fun. This was inspiring for me, reminding myself I also had to do these very same 5 things so that I can stay inspired as a creative. So I'll see you next week, same time on these platforms. Let people know that the Creative Checkup goes live. And then on Mondays, we do our podcast. So you'll see a new podcast pop up. So it's kind of like this: Mondays, podcast; Wednesdays, we do a Creative Checkup through writing. So if you sign up to our newsletter, you get the writing version of the Creative Checkup, where I add 3 or 4 different strategies to help you to level up as a Christian creative. And on Fridays, we do the live checkup. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we got you covered. And on Saturdays, the God and Gigs 360 group gets an extra advanced, they get the advanced training and the hot seats and all the other stuff they get throughout the week. So they get even more touch points so they can grow as creators. So I'd love for you to join us at godandgigs.com/spring break if you want to get that break and 4 easy payments to join in. That slashes your payment from what would have been like $50-$60 a month to what equals maybe a little less than 30, like $33, I think, something like that. And even less, something like that. I can't do the math, but anyway, it's 30% less, okay, when you add it up. And right before I jumped out, I'm so glad I hung in there. Rachel G. Scott, how are you doing, my friend? Real quick on Instagram. This is why I wanted to make sure I went live on Instagram. The devil's a liar. I said I'm going to go live on Instagram, even if my phone dies. Rachel, we just finished doing our creative checkup. Go get Rachel's book, Taking the 5 Leaps. I just read it. I got to do my review, Rachel, for you. This is overtime, by the way, guys. If you're watching on replay and you're like, okay, I'm just talking to people now. Yeah, the official part is over. Now I'm just going to see if my phone lasts and just talk to people. So you feel free to cut it. We might cut this off for the replay as well. So yes, go get Rachel's book. Okay, Taking the 5 Leaps. I'm going to do my review. I'm going to use my time wisely while I'm in camera mode. I'm going to go do your review right now, my friend. And go check out our episode. Let's see what our episode is. I think it's 273. Are we 274? I think you're 274. godandgigs.com. Let's put it in right now. Let's just get this out of the way and make sure we do it right. godandgigs.com/274. Go listen to that interview. Rachel killed it. Her book is amazing. I wish I had this information on how to make leaps of faith the biblical way. So here we go. I think this is going to show up on YouTube, right? Yes. godandgigs.com/274 for the interview. Go check out all the links for her book are there in that podcast episode as well. And yes, reviews help so much. I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm going to do a little bit. We're coaches, right? So that's the one thing I was mad about. I did not hear you talk about reviews. And I was like, why is there no like 7,000 reviews on the first day? I was like, man, we should have done, I should have done my job. I should have got more reviews for you. So yes, everybody that reads this book, go review it on Amazon. That is how the algorithm works. This book is life-changing for some people like us. All of us creatives, we have done some kind of leap. All of us have done some kind of leap where we had to step out of what we were doing and then take on this creative calling that God has put on us. And so I did not realize I was making leaps like this, but Rachel helped me see through the book. The builder's leap I've done, the fisherman's leap I've done. I've done all these kinds of leaps where I knew God was leading me, but I just didn't know like exactly how he was doing it. Oh no, 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 you didn't mess up. I mean, but I did. I just felt in my heart like it was like a. I went into review like I was like, oh no, I started to do the review, and then I was like, no, I really want to do like a. I don't want to just do like the 5 stars. Like I want to do like a serious, like clearly I am invested. I want to show the book on camera, right? So I didn't want it to be like where people just like, oh, he's just helping out a friend. Um, yeah, I guess I am a trailblazer. Am I a trailblazer? Y'all got to go read the book to see what we're talking about. I've definitely done builders and fishermen. Shepherds, I kind of done shepherds if you consider me moving in town. I did not move out of town, but I did move as a shepherd kind of from my church. So that was a location change. And also I moved from North Florida, South Florida, like super South Florida to North Broward, which is like, so we moved up here to help take care of my mother when she was sick, my mother-in-law. So yeah, I guess you could say I've done at least three out of the four. And the last one is escaping me now. But yes, you need to go. Yes, take the quiz. I'm going to type that in. So go. You guys see here on Instagram. You see what she just typed in. I wonder if I could pin that comment. Yeah, there we go. Look at that, Rachel. Look at us. Look at us using Instagram. Okay. So take the 5leapsquiz.com. Okay. The 5leapsquiz.com. I'll type it in so everybody can see it. This was awesome that you jumped in. This was perfect because I wanted to talk about it, but I didn't want to, overextend my welcome and talking about how to break your creative blocks. But this is perfect. So now those of you who are watching, you're getting that. This is essential to your creative life to get some biblical, scriptural guidance on how to take leaps of faith. That again, creatives, that's why I had Rachel on the podcast. Okay. So this is awesome. Yes, this was perfect. This is why God had me do this. And I'm telling you, Rachel, I was literally like so mad. My Instagram wasn't working. My phone is dying. And I was like, this is not worth it. I'm going to, every time I go live, something goes wrong. I get all in my feelings. And again, I go straight through. We just went through how to stay unstuck as a creative. And one of the things we said was turn what ifs into so what if. So what if it doesn't go live? Just hit the button, go live anyway. So what if StreamYard didn't work? So what if the button didn't like? That's what I did. I just did that, and you are an example of why I did it. Even though we're down to 10%, I don't know if I can charge my phone while it's on live because of the way it's set up here. Actually, you know what, you guys? Okay, Instagram, you're gonna get all the things. You're gonna see all this stuff. We're definitely in overtime now, but Instagram, you're gonna see me because I have this contraption here. And I don't even use it. Look at that. God knew. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Okay, so now we're doing like the 2 camera thing. But, I don't know who I'm looking at, but we'll figure it out. So this is awesome. So again, guidinggigs.com/274 for Rachel's interview to give you a little bit of updates. 275 is Deidre Shin, who is the founder and CEO of Capshow, which is an AI tool for podcasters and marketers. That was a fascinating conversation. You all should just be subscribing to the podcast right now at guidinggigs.com/podcast. It's on every single network, Spotify, Apple, on YouTube. You should just go over here and subscribe to this very thing because I always post, Rachel's interview and Deidre's interview, all these different. And speaking of, once again, these guys are all joining at the right time since the official teaching is over. This is all hangout time. This is bonus time. Phantom Power Media has just joined us over here on Instagram. Again, why I went to go live on Instagram. You guys see why I was freaking out when Instagram didn't work? Because I know some of you guys are here. And Phantom Power Media, we are heavy into podcasting 2.0. What you may not know, guys, is that Guiding Gigs is now a value for value podcast. What is a value for value podcast? What the heck is that? Well, my friend Jim over there at Phantom Power Media could tell you, because we are doing some exciting stuff in the world of podcasting and music. And as a creative, as a musician, I'm already there in Value for Value. I did a very targeted, I didn't share with everybody in Guiding Gigs. It was more just for musicians, but I shared a webinar that I did, a practice webinar on how I'm now being ranked and I'm getting value and I'm being compensated for my music that I hadn't been compensated for in 10 years. And God and Gigs now is also a value for value podcast. Some of you guys are scared of when I say things like Bitcoin. Don't be scared. This is the way I've been saying it. This is not complicated. It's different. But if I told you 20 years ago that we would get all of our music in these little devices and none of it would be paid and it would all be streamed, you would have said, what are you talking about? We buy CDs here. And then before that, every single time there's a revolution, it always catches the creators off guard. And I'm just in this mindset that this is not going to catch. I'm going to preach a little bit. Y'all stayed in late. Okay. I went past that 45-minute teaching. So y'all going to get this. I am so tired of the kingdom of God being behind the 8 ball when it comes to technology. I'm tired of certain cultures and groups of people that I relate to being behind the 8 ball when it comes to technology and not being first. Finding out later, oh my gosh, the whole world has changed. ChatGPT comes around and nobody's ready. Why is that? It's because sometimes as creators, we get stuck. I just talked about being stuck in creative inspiration, but sometimes we also get stuck in complacency and how we do things. And then we get mad when the industry changes and we have not been keeping up with it. And then we're blaming the industry for changing when we could have been a part of the change and immediately initiating how things are different in our industries as creatives. So I'm getting strong here because I'm yes, Rachel, I'm telling you, I'm going to send you out. It's what the best place to go is to podcasting2.org. Go to podcasting2.org. That's the best place. That has been created by some of the smart people in podcasting to explain what value for value is, why it's a better model than just, this is the way I see it. Y'all, I'm going to nerd out, but I'm sorry. Again, y'all got the extras. Here's the way I see this. We creators are always trying to find the ways to like earn money for what we do, be valued for what we do. We also understand the nature of art is to be given. It is literally a gift. It's why you're called gifted. You're called gifted because what you have, you did not earn. What you have as a creative, talent-wise, is a gift. What you do with it is skill. What you do with it is discipline. Parable of the 10 talents. One man got 1, one man got 2, one man got 5. The one that got 5 doubled it. The one that got 2 doubled it. The one that got 1 said, I know that you are a hard man and I'm just going to bury it. What's the common delineation between all 3 people who got talents? The common delineation is none of them had anything before the master gave it to them. They did not have it till they were given it. And then once they were given it, they were held responsible for it. And I'm sorry, Jim, you probably didn't expect me to go preachy here, right? You didn't think I was going to throw in, like, you talked about my playing being from the churchy thing. I can't get away from the churchy thing, y'all. So here's what I'm trying to say to my fellow faith-focused creatives. If you realize that there is a direct connection between the fact that you have a gift you've been given and that you have a responsibility over that gift, you can't necessarily be so tied to the compensation for that gift that you then get locked into one way of offering it. So then you're like, well, I'm not going to do this if it doesn't pay. Well, maybe that's not the time you're supposed to be paid. Maybe you're supposed to be creating like leverage so that you have this great thing that people come and want to pay you for, that you don't have to beg people to pay for. So what we need to be doing as creatives is that we need to be creating systems that make it more altruistic, advantage. I'm going to get this. Advantageously altruistic. We need to make it more, I'm getting excited, I'm sorry. Where it is more advantageous to the consumer to be altruistic. It is more advantageous to our consumers and our audiences and our communities to be more generous. If we make that where it's a no-brainer to be generous, and in value for value, a lot of this is offering value and not saying, oh, you need to pay me this. It's freely given, and then we ask for the value back. But the Bible says very clearly that it is better to give than to receive. So if you give people the chance to give, you have to have faith that you will then receive. And so you have to give to get given back. It is not us giving only. I heard this on Jim. I heard this on your podcast with Violetta. I've actually talked to someone that interviewed her. Was it Violetta? I can't say her name right. But she was saying that like NFTs and stuff, like she felt like this was more like V for V is more like tipping. Yes, if you put value in the universe, people will give back. That's exactly what I'm saying. It is just a spiritual universal principle that you sow, you reap. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. It doesn't matter the method. What matters is that you have to embrace the methodology. Violetta, okay, thank you. Yeah. All right. So I know I probably went on a big tangent for some of you, but if you want to check out Value for Value, number one, first thing you want to do, and I'm so glad I get the opportunity to do this. I had no idea I was going to go here today. Thank you for showing up, James. This is a blessing. So if you want to learn about Value for Value, the first thing I would say is go to podcasting2.org. Let's type that in for the YouTube folks. Wait, I gotta remember how was it? Podcasting2.org/apps. Can't type today. Okay, so go to there, podcasting2/2.org/apps. Okay. So if you go there, you will be able to see the different apps that are available for you. Now, a lot of you just use Apple and Spotify, and I get that. Okay. But these apps don't really show you what's possible with what we're doing right now. Like YouTube, I'm limited by what YouTube offers me. Instagram, thank you. That's another great place. Yeah. Value for Value. Let me pin that. Yes, if they go there, that was more of the philosophical, but it's definitely good. Like I feel like that site explains it so well. It's just a lot of information. I kind of just want them to grab the app and just start messing with it, because that's what I did. Like I just started messing with the app. I grabbed the app, I started messing with it. I figured out how to get into, to giving sats, to boosting sats. You can boost the God and Gig show now. You can boost us. It's like, what is a boost? Well, you don't know until you try to boost. Like I could try to explain it to you. Yeah, that makes it like it's a mantra. Exactly. Got it. So I can explain value to value to you. It's better for you to do it. But this is more of a doing thing. Once you start doing it, it doesn't sound so crazy. And you see the community and you realize that this is a blessing for people like us, creatives that are like trying to find the next thing. My pastor literally asked me this very same question. She's like, what's next in music? What do you think? And I was trying, James, in one or two sentences to explain to her, well, it's probably going to go for value for value. It's because we were talking about how streaming took over and how everything like went to hell in a handbasket. And so we went into that and we talked about like what is really happening in the industry. And I said, yeah, like most likely the independents are going to come up with new ways to share, just like they did back in Napster and LimeWire and all those other things. And like, people were like, oh, this is spammy. People are stealing. And then eventually Spotify is like, oh, this is a good idea. We're going to try to commoditize it. And that's what they did. And I said, most likely what people are going to do, yes, it's so hard to do 1-2 sentences. So what people are going to do is they're going to come up with this idea, and then these big corporations are going to come and try to steal it. And it's going to be up to the creatives to stay committed to their way of sharing and stay committed to their audiences so that these big corporations don't try to take over a system that was never theirs. So that was what I was trying to say to her. And she's an artist. I've already trying to get the Metro Life worship team on V for V. We're releasing new music right now, but of course it's more traditional, but we are an independent label. So we're going to be looking at that, man. I'm going to be sharing as I do it, and I can show them because I've done it as a creative myself. I'm doing value for value as a podcaster. I'm doing value for value as a musician. So those of you who are like confused by all this talk, just get the app, look for my songs, look for the podcast, and see how you can interact in this community. That to me is the easiest way for you to figure out what value for value is just do it inside the community that we're already in so that you're not feeling like you're drinking from a fire hose. So if I just tell you, hey, go grab this app, put some sats in a little wallet, and boost the Guiding Gig Show. That's all. Don't worry about too much. Don't worry about trying to do all the things and try to figure out what podcasting 2.0 is and all this stuff. Like, don't. Just look at me, Linda, look at me. Okay. Just follow the Guiding Gig Show on a podcasting 2.0 app. Just do that. Okay. If you want to find out about value for value, your only job, your only step, your only call to action is to download a podcasting 2.0 app and follow the Guiding Gig Show on it. That's it. To go outside of Apple and Spotify, and this is where the reach is, because some of you are like, well, I don't want to do an extra app. Cool. Don't change. But if you want to find about value for value and find out how you can be a more integrated, a more connected part of this community, it will exponentially change your experience in our community. And it will create a new way for you to see how you could do this for your community. If you take the leap of faith, Rachel, and jump into this other way of connecting with creatives, which is not complicated. It's different. It's not complicated. It's different. Again, it's not complicated. It's different. Okay. All right. That's my rant. That's my value for value rant. Blame Phantom Power Media. Go listen to our episode. He had me on the show as my music. He not interviewed, but he kind of like broke down my song. I still appreciate. Let me read this for those of you who are on YouTube and who are watching the bonus episode. This is all bonus. I'll post this, I think, in the membership. I tell artists to add this to your business plan. Keep doing everything else. Just add getting paid in Bitcoin to your business plan and see what happens. Yes. Multiple streams. So if y'all, Jim, y'all understand, you're preaching to me. Ecclesiastes 12:1. Cast your bread upon the waters 7 to 8 times and let it return to you, right? 7 or 8 different ways. This will blow your mind. Did God say just create multiple streams of income? Or was he actually talking about multiple currencies? Was he talking about gold and silver? Was he talking about gold, silver, bronze, precious metals, real estate, which is still not another currency? So see where I'm going here? What if God was not referring to us being paid only in dollars? What if God was actually saying, do not be limited by any monetary system? What if creatives were not limited by any monetary system? What if the compensation that you receive was not limited to what the US dollar does, to what the yen does, to what the euro does? What if your value as a creative was not tied to any monetary worldly system, but was actually beyond it and could be in multiple ways, multiple countries, and even in ways that extended beyond countries? You see where I go? This is your fault. I do not intend to go here. This is where my mind goes. This is why Guiding Gigs is not a just get rich quick music bet. How do I get more followers on the Instagram page? Because I cannot talk about this in any other context in this way. I cannot bring in the financial, spiritual, creative, and relational and community basis and all those things at 360. I cannot do this in any other format. This is the format where you will get this. You will not get it anywhere else. I'm being very honest with you, and I'm not trying to brag. You're not going to get this type of discussion anywhere else on the internet in this way. You're not. This is the only place you're going to see these lines drawn specifically for creatives, so that you can see how God could work in every single way. 360, which is Guiding Gigs 360, which is why you need to join the membership at guidinggigs.com/spring break and save yourself some money and join us, where we have high level conversations about deep things that actually are practically applicable to your creative life right now. where you can go high level and go instantly creative and instantly connect the dots between your spiritual life and your creative life instantly. That's what's happening right now. That's why you're watching right now. That's why I'm getting excited. That's why I'm talking fast. It's because, yes, compensated in time, talent, and treasure. James, that's why I knew it was something that I could vibe with. Time, talent, treasure. We say that in Sundays. Gets compensated in time, talent, or treasure. You can share this show. You can add talent by sending us if you guys have a graphic design, you got a great template on Canva, and you don't like the way I do this, and you'll say, hey, let me help you out. Let me show you some great ways to put your graphics. Let me send you some show art. Let me send you something for here. Rachel, for your book. Hey, I want to show you I have a cool idea for your taking the 5 leaps. I have this idea where I can do like the graphics for your chapters, and I want to do a graphic for the fisherman's leap. I want to do a graphic for the builder's leap, and you want to support Rachel. So what Rachel does is she's like, okay, I don't need you to pay me for this. Just send it, donate it to the community. Show me what you have, and let's add it to and then she talks about that artist. Like, look what this artist did. He created this cool graphic that depicts each one of these leaps, and he's adding it to the community. Go follow him. Go check him out. Go get yours. And then who knows? Like, I don't know what happens after that. But that's and then the treasure is financial, Bitcoin, PayPal, Cash App, like whatever. Like, it is absolutely it is why I'm super passionate about this. I did not mean to go almost an hour and a half on this live. Again, I blame Rachel and Jim Costello. You guys both need to talk one day. Rachel, I'm going to send you some more info, but go check out that site. Go listen to a few podcasts. Again, I want to make it super simple. Just try an app and follow some shows. To me, that's the easiest way. Just find an app, a new Podcasting 2.0 app at podcasting2.org/apps, and follow our show. Let me make it even simpler. Just follow the Guided Gig Show on that app. And then you'll see kind of like, oh, this is different. You're gonna see like comments. You're gonna see people like, giving giving boosts where I comment on someone else's and someone likes the comment, and instead of just seeing a heart, they send me value. They send me what they call sats. So I get paid for commenting. I get paid for commenting. Wait, y'all, Facebook ain't there. You're going to pay me for commenting? Someone likes my post or likes my comment, and then I get paid for that? They send me value because they like what I thought? Like, that's like next level. That's what I'm talking about. Like, y'all don't understand. This is why it's like, wait a minute. Like, I need to tell my people about this. All right. We've been going almost an hour and 15 minutes, y'all. I did not expect to do this. This is amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Yeah, Jem, you jumping in. Rachel, you jumping in. This is why, again, like, I need the reminder and this encouragement. You see what just happened here? You see how I opened up where I was kind of like, okay, I got to present the information, do the thing, show up, do what I said, commit to my daily craft. I did. I'm following through. And I'm not saying I didn't have passion there, but the passion like exponentially increases when I see people connecting with me. And that's the value. They're giving me their time. You just gave me the time just to look and type. Typing is the biggest gift you gave me. Typing a comment, typing a suggestion, typing a website, typing liking, subscribing in terms of the actual just saying, hey, I want to connect with you. I want to help your numbers get up a little bit, right? That's what invigorates creatives. We feed on that. And so I appreciate you, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining. Go find Taking the 5 Leaps book. If you want more information of Podcasting 2.0, go to those sites. 5 Leaps quiz. I gave a ton of CTAs today, but hey, you know what? This is all the stuff we're doing. And so you can see we're in so many different areas, and it's a blessing, man. So I am so glad we did this. This creative checkup thing is taking off. So you'll see me once again, 1:00 oh, wait, no, it's not Good Friday. I think we might take off Good Friday because it is Good Friday and we'll honor Good Friday. So we may not do a creative checkup on Good Friday, but everything else we'll do always 1:00 Eastern, 10:00 Pacific. And God bless you guys. This was fun. I'm so glad we stuck with it. I learned how to use my camera right and just use the hookup that I should have used from the get go. And once again, if you want to get that, godandgigs.com/breakthrough for the book, the 5 ways that you can break through any creative slump, the mindset shifts of making sure that you are replacing the what ifs, that you are reconnecting with your emotions, that you reactivate your appreciation of others, that you recommit your daily time and creativity, and that you reward yourself every day. If you do that, I guarantee you that book's going to help you do that. Okay. I'm singing Good Friday. Are you playing? Yes, we do have service. Yes. All right, go do your podcast in the value burst, man. I'll be listening. I've been streaming sats, and then sometimes I'm like, I stream because I can't remember the boost. And then when I look at my streaming, I'm like, oh my God, I'm running out of money. Let me just boost. So you'll see me one way or the other. I don't know what you're gonna see me. Sats or boost, I don't know, or streamer boost. But yeah, I love that Phantom Power. Go find the Phantom Power Media music show. Go find the Phantom Power Music Hour, Artist Hour, Business Hour. He's killing it in podcasting 2.0. And yeah, go find it. But again, your job is to download an app, just one app, follow one show, baby steps, right? Baby steps. Musicians, baby steps. Podcasters, baby steps. And then I'll show you how you can go to the next level. Maybe we'll do a creative checkup on that. How's that? Y'all bet we'll do a creative checkup on how you can utilize value for value in your specific niche as a musician or as a podcaster. Bet. All right, that's our next one. Okay, so hold me to it. Y'all want to hear about that? If you like that topic, let me know. Tell me if you want to hear about that. Put it in the comments or email me at alan@godandgeeks.com. Tell me what you want to hear in our next creative checkup episode. That'll help me. I think this will bless all of you. But this was a blessing. Thank you so much, guys. Gotta run that gym run. Let you guys run. Enjoy your Saturdays. If you watched on replay, if you watched all the way through and I allowed this to stay, I don't know if I'm going to leave it or not. But if you liked it, share it. Subscribe to this channel wherever you're watching. Make sure you let people know that every Friday there's a Creative Checkup Live, and every Monday there's a God and Gigs show episode. God bless you guys. Take care. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.